So hi everyone, I'm Shubhrima Jana. I'm the GDSC lead and the Flutter facilitator for Government College of Engineering and Ceramic Technology. So basically, this is the first time we are having this in our campus, and a lot of you are not familiar with what Flutter is, and we'll be starting from scratch. A lot of you had doubts about whether you had to install something or not, whether you had to start with something or not. I'll be giving you a list of what to do and how to install whatever we need so that the next, that is the second day of the session of the festival, we'll be doing our hands-on coding and we'll be making our first app, a one-screen app, a simple app, but we'll be doing it that day. Today what we are going to do is we'll be learning what Flutter is, which language, which frameworks we use here, and why would we use Flutter? Like why not some other thing, and what is the benefits of using Flutter? So basically what Flutter is it is a Google technology, and this in this Flutter festival we can make apps. There is something called solution challenge that is going on. Maybe some of you have registered, some of you may not have. For that solution challenge, you may use these tools that Google have built, and Flutter is one of them. Now, during this entire Flutter festival, you can make apps using Flutter, and you can use Firebase, Google Cloud Contents here, but you may use other things as well. However, for this Flutter festival, we'll be providing support with only Flutter, Firebase, and Google Cloud. Okay, so what is the tenure of this? We have the festival on February 14th, and this will end on 30th March. So any app you build, anything you want to make, you can make them within 30th March, and so will be the students. Okay, so let's start with what is Flutter. Anyone has any idea on what Flutter is? Anything like basic one-line definition will also do.
Basically,
it's basically a cross platform.
Is SDK.
Start.
Flutter is basically a SDK which can build a cross-platform application.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. From what I know, we can make apps for Android as well as iOS devices.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what the concept was when Flutter was being built. And so Flutter is actually a cross-platform or multi-platform tool, as you both said. But and what is the benefit is that you write a single piece of code and it runs on Android, iOS, etc. But it's not limited to Android and iOS these days. We'll see what else we can include, like web, etc. Now, while building, Google was also not sure what they were doing. So they started initially with a UI toolkit, and it was just limited to front end. But today, when we talk about Flutter, it's not just front end. It also includes, you can use backport here as well. And we have a lot that are built here using both, using Flutter, both the front end and as well as back end. Okay, so this is what it is saying that, yeah, what it is saying that you can make projects, you write one single piece of code, and you run it on different platforms. Okay, so it supports iOS, Android, web. Web has been newly introduced, Windows, macOS, Linux, and embedded. Now, having said that, as I was talking about the installation procedure, since I'm using a Windows device, I'll be telling you about the Windows device. I'll be sharing links of all these and of how to download what we need, how to install what we need. If anyone is using Linux or macOS, just let me know so that I'll provide you with a different set of links. Okay. So the main 5 things that Flutter mainly casts its focus on is fast, productive, beautiful, open, and portable. So what do we mean by fast? Fast is that the speed of the app is not limited. And secondly, when you write the source code, the conversion, the compilation from the source code to the machine code is extremely fast. So that's one of the benefits. Productive. That is, while you develop the app, one thing we most of us know how to do web development, right? So what we do there is when we write a piece of code and when we run the server, we see the changes. Again, next we make a few changes, we fix a few bugs, and we have to rerun the server. Now this becomes a bit tiring, running the server multiple times. So Flutter has come up with something called hot reload. Now what hot reload does is, we'll be doing this in the, when we do our hands-on coding, I'll show you the icon and everything. What hot reload does is, you don't have to restart the server multiple times. You can just click the button and the changes are visible. You can connect, while you do this, you can connect a physical device like your mobile. You can use it as the place where you want to see the changes, or you can use a web as it's there, your Chrome, Microsoft Edge you can use, or maybe you can also use a visual implementation like this. You see, this is one of the devices. I'll show you this. This is a one screen app, basic app, but you can see the implementation in this way. This is so you can see how your app is looking in both Android as well as iOS. It's beautiful because when it was started initially, it was a UI toolkit, as we saw. And therefore, one thing, it's in native, when we code, it becomes difficult. The designer team shows us something, and it's difficult to implement by the development team. Now, what happens here is, since it's a UI toolkit, everything comes under it. What is a widget? We'll come to that. But yeah, it becomes easier to implement. Open, so it's an open source, Flutter is open source, so anything you want to fix a bug, you find something uncomfortable, you want to solve the issue, everything is available on GitHub, you fork the repo, you make the changes. So yeah, it's an open, it's a global community for developers, and you can contribute. Okay, and last we had portable. So in portable, it's the same thing, so I've not put a different slide here, that it ships wherever you want to use it, it's platform independent. Okay, Ayush, Firebase.
Okay, thank you, Shabrima, for handing over. Basically, Firebase is a single umbrella under which there's multiple features which you can use for mobile as well as web-related application. Firebase was initially designed just for real-time database, but later on it has been shifted to multiple domains. Now, the main features which this Firebase provide is divided into 3 different categories. That is, first is for build a better app, like app-related things like machine learning toolkits. Apart from that, you are having machine learning lab, as well as code support, as well as functions for your backend. It basically makes all your work on a single platform. And the second feature which Firebase provides is that it provides an improvement app quality. Like it will, it gives you an opportunity to monitor what you are doing. And if, after creating an application, Firebase automatically checks for all the quality checks, as well as these industrial standards, as well as security related issues. And the third one is grow. That is by engaging with different type of testing programs, it will basically help you develop your application to a better level. So these all are the main features which Firebase provide. So if you are developing any application using Flutter, then you would be requiring a backend and as well as a site to host. So that is provided by Firebase. You can deploy your application there, and in addition to that, you can generate your own URL. You don't need to buy any domain name. If you are interested to buy a domain name, in that case, you can switch all your application to that domain name. That is also provided by Firebase. So that's all from my side, Shibrima.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Google Cloud, and most of you have taken part in the 30 days of Google Cloud, so we won't be elaborating it here. In case any of you have a doubt, you can head over to our chapter page. You'll have Google Cloud there. We had a session on it, 1 hour session, so you can learn from there also. Okay. Now, having said that, if some of you have registered for Solution Challenge, you will get a few credits. You can use them to for cloud. You go to the Cloud Skill Boost platform. You can use the credits, and you can run the labs of Google Flutter, and you can. Those are the demo labs present there. You can run them and you can learn. Okay. Continuing with Flutter. So we have heard of Django, right? So Django framework is written with Python. Similarly, when we talk about the Flutter framework, we have Dart. Now we have a definition on the screen. I'm not going to read it out. I'll just tell you what Dart is. So why did Google come up with Dart? So at first they were looking for a language where they could implement something which is could be applied on types of platforms, as we said, web, iOS, Android, Windows, Mac OS, etc. Now, what we found was that Google wasn't finding it comfortable. So they came up with Dart. Dart is their own language, and Flutter is a framework written using Dart. Okay, so that's what Dart is. So whatever code we'll be writing in the next session, or whenever we write a code for Flutter frameworks, it's always going to be Dart. So about nearly 500,000 apps today have been developed using Flutter. Some of them include Google Ads, we have Google Assistant, we have Tencent, we have Coach Yourself, etc. And the thing is that there are certain apps which are built in native, and you see that the user experience for iOS and Android is completely different. Not completely, but there are a few changes. But for Flutter, you'll see that it's the same thing in both those devices. Okay, coming to the architecture, everything is a widget, as I told you. Now, what is a widget? It's actually, inside the framework, we have widgets, we have material, whatever it is, we'll have animation, we'll have, if we make a single screen app, we don't have much animation, but as our app becomes complex, we want the users to be having more screen time with our app, and therefore we add in a little animations to make it even more user-friendly. We may add in gestures. So all these comes under framework. Now, this is also written using Dart and contains high-level libraries. Okay. Next is engine. So Flutter won't, this is simple. The Flutter won't run without an engine. Anything you need an engine. So that's what it is. Next is plugins. Now, plugins is an important concept which comes much later in Flutter, but since we are talking about the basic architecture, we are including plugins here. So as the name suggests, it's a software component, and it makes you to access certain things in your app very easily, like for high-level features. Suppose we are using Google Maps, okay? So the one thing very important or essential for Google Maps is it needs to know our location, or else how will it work? Again, for Instagram, at certain times we need access to a camera. So these are all plugins. So similarly, you can have the 3 examples that are given on the screen are all UI plugins. That's why I named some other plugins which are not UI plugins. So here the plugins are Contact Picker, Staggered Grid View, as the picture that's given here. It's a staggered grid view plugin, and you can see the view itself shows what it is. Radial means you can just rotate, and it shows a radial effect. So these are all the UI plugins. What I named are not the UI plugins. You have plenty of plugins, and there is a link I'll be sharing with you where you can see so many plugins that are present in Flutter. Okay. Talking about the anatomy of Flutter app, when we start coding, we first have a scaffold. What is a scaffold? The entire blank screen that we have, suppose we are talking about this app. So this you see is suppose the scaffold and the entire blank thing. In scaffold, we have 2 parts, the app and the container. So the app bar is one, stone, paper, scissors written. So the app bar basically that tells you what the app is. So for whatever app it is, the name goes there, or you can include something else as well. Then comes your container. anything under the app bar is your container. This entire thing, the white screen that you see, is your container. Okay. Now the container can contain columns, it can contain rows, it can contain expanded classes. All these are widgets. Okay, so the framework that stands is, it's a widget inside a widget. And what we call this is a widget tree. This is the widget tree. This is not the diagram of this app. This is a different widget tree that I was showing. And this is a different app. Okay. Now the tree is, this tree, the entire tree structure, when we code, we write it in Dart. And what we see here is, we can have a lot of things. Here we can stack in columns here. How do we stack in columns? The vertical things are the columns. So this is a column where we have written this. This is a column where we write the round number. So if we start a new game and suppose I'm opting for stone. Okay. So what happens is, this is what it is. This round one goes for your first one, round 2. So this is the column. Again, this is another column. This is another column. My name comes under another column, and this new game thing comes under another column. Okay, so that comes under another column. Now we also have rows, as I told. So what we do in rows is, whatever we stack vertically is columns. Whatever we stack horizontally is rows. So this stone symbol icon that we have is one row. This one is another row. This one is another row. So this is a widget tree where inside one column we have multiple rows. So one column we have, and inside that we have 3 rows. Similarly, we can insert text, we can insert images, we can insert icons. So we can, if we had not made it a row, we would have just implemented a single icon. This is a widget which we can, this is a image widget, this is a text widget. So that's how it goes on. You can also use images directly from the web. That is, you don't have to download the image. That becomes a little complex. That is not your image widget, but it becomes your network image widget. So the widget makes your view things easily, and you can put an image, you can put text, you can put icon, as I said. Okay. The last thing that I'll say is that since everything is a widget tree, all that we'll be focusing on, the app we'll be making, everything is a widget. Okay, I'll not show you code. I'll be showing you later on. That's in the next session. I'll keep this session very short. Now about downloading, what you have to download, what you have to install for all this. So first you have to install the Flutter SDK. You have to install Android Studio. You can also use code, but at certain points you'll be needing a lot of things which will be which will be easier to use for Android Studio. So stick to that. Any other editor like Sublime or etc., I don't think it's very, it's not very comfortable. Okay, so you can use VS Code, but try to stick to Android Studio. That's easier. And because there are some specialized tools which you'll only get in Android Studio. And you'll need to install Android emulator. What is the emulator? This is the emulator, as I showed you. This is the whatever you the screen you get. It's that's what I was saying. Yeah. So if you want to install with completely the docs, if the docs you're comfortable with the docs, I'll share this link with you. This is how wait 1 second. This is for the Windows, this is for the Linux and Mac OS. I don't have the videos for Linux. You might have to use YouTube, or maybe just ask me, I'll get you some links. Windows and Mac OS, the links I have, I'll be sharing with you. Yeah. So here you see whatever requirements are needed is this, the disk space and all. But preferably you have a greater space there in your laptop or your PC, because we have to do a lot of things, and it takes up a lot of space. Okay, you have to install plugins, etc. Having 10 GB would be fine. Windows 7 or later, and these are the two. Okay, you need to install Git as well. Okay, how do you install Git? You'll find any tutorial present. You just have to install Git. Maybe you have Git in your, a lot of you may have Git installed, so we'll need that as well. This is the zip file you download for Android. I'm so sorry, for Windows. And then the steps are given. You can go for Mac OS and Linux respectively. You'll find the docs here. The links I'll be sharing. The links I'll be sharing on the WhatsApp group that we have. Most of you are there. If you're not there, if you're not there, send me a mail on shubhrimajana@gmail.com. I'll send you the link, or maybe you'll find it on our platform as well. Join from there and I'll share with you the link. That's all from my side today, because we'll not be doing hands-on coding today. We'll be doing it in the next session, which we'll be having in the first week or early second week of March. Anything else? Anyone wants to ask?
Can we install the Flutter from the Android Studio plugins?
You can do that. I'm not very sure about that, but you can do that, yeah. Because what I did was I installed Android Studio just for Flutter, because I don't know any other app development tech stack, so I did it directly. You can do it that way also, but I don't know if it's causes any error or not.
Okay, fine.